Today's lesson is called Plus Talk, Getting a Job Transfer and Working Abroad, Day 2. Hi everyone, my name is Jeff.
I'm Roger. Today we're going to talk about working abroad. This is Act 2 of our larger unit entitled Getting a Job Transfer and Working Abroad. Now, just to give you a summary of what's happening so far, the boss called Jack into his office and praised Jack and gave him all sorts of compliments. Jack felt very flattered, but the reason the boss was complimenting him so much was because he was trying to butter him up to accept a transfer to their office in London. The boss wants Jack to go over there and help their sales team get started, to get them on their feet, to get it up and running. And once he's done there, of course, he's welcome back at the original company. Jack jumps at the chance there. It's a great opportunity. Who wouldn't want to go spend some time in London?
Yeah, Jack got the job, okay? Act 1 of this month's Plus Talk dialogue was called Getting a Job Transfer. And Jack, he's the one who got transferred. They wanted to send him to London to get a new team there up and running. And Jack was really excited for the opportunity. He took the opportunity almost immediately. Now, usually when you get a big offer like that, you should probably say, can I have 48 hours to think about it or something like that? Jack here, though, he jumped at the opportunity immediately. He was just that excited. Anyways, Jack, by the way, is most definitely the guy to get this team in London started. Remember, Jack is a total star in the office, okay? His performance has been stellar since he was first hired. He's stepped up his game, so he's even better than before. Everyone loves him. The customers and his colleagues love him. He gets results. Oh my gosh, Jack is awesome. Jack is great. He's the type of guy who you want to send abroad, okay, to work for you there and to get a new team, let's say, up and running. Yes, Jack is the guy that you want to send abroad, and Jack apparently is going to be working abroad in Act 2 of this month's Plus Talk dialogue. So yes, in Act 1, Jack was the guy who got the job transfer, and Jack is back. As you guys might have guessed, he is going to be the fella who was working abroad in today's dialogue. So let's go ahead and get started with today's dialogue. We'll be right back after this.
Act 2. Working abroad. 3 weeks later, Jack has arrived in London and is ready to begin working at the new office.
Hi, I'm Jack. I'm looking for Irene Thompson. We're meant to be meeting at 9.
That's me. Nice to meet you, Jack. Let's head to the back conference room, and I'll help you get settled in.
Great, thanks a lot.
大家好，今天第一个单字我们看到的是 conference， 这个字当作名词，代表会议或是讨论会的意思。例如 Joanne went to a teacher's conference over the weekend. Joanne 周末时参加了一场教师研讨会。
Okay, so this is Act 2, working abroad. So remember, Jack accepted the transfer. It's not really a promotion. A promotion means you get a better job position with more pay. This is just a transfer to London to help out their sales team. So 3 weeks later, Jack has arrived in London and is ready to begin working at the new office there in London town. Now, Jack enters the office. He says, "Hi, I'm Jack. I'm looking for Irene Thompson. We're meant to be meeting at 9. So somebody had sent him an email or called him on the phone and told him, yes, on your first day on the job, you're going to have a meeting with Irene Thompson. So he arrives there and he is looking for Irene Thompson. We're supposed to have a meeting at 9 o'clock.
Yes, Irene Thompson, okay, is his contact, okay? When he arrives in London and gets working and goes to the office, that's the person he needs to find. Maybe she's the boss there in London, who knows? Or maybe she's just one of his colleagues who's been in London for a little while longer than Jack has. Anyways, it's 3 weeks later. Jack's gotten to London, and he's looking for his business contact there in the office, Irene Thompson. And apparently he has run right into Irene Thompson. Yeah, I'm looking for Irene Thompson. And Irene says, yeah, that's me. Nice to meet you, Jack. I've heard all about you, Jack. You're here to get the team up and running. You're a star. Wow, I'm so honored to meet you. Well, she doesn't say that. She's more businesslike in her demeanor. She says, let's go ahead. Let's head to the back conference room, and I'll help you get settled in. So it's not clear here yet whether or not Irene is the boss or just a colleague, but she's going to help him get settled in and comfortable. She's going to show him the ropes, so to speak. Now, before we move on here, let's talk about the word conference. The word conference is a big fancy word that means meeting. But usually when you use the word conference, you're referring to an important or an official or a formal meeting. That's all there is to it. So what's a conference room? It's a room where people hold conferences or meetings. That's pretty much all there is to it.
To me, a conference is much larger than a meeting. A meeting could have maybe anywhere from maybe 5 to 15 people or something like that, whereas a conference would have maybe 20, 30 people or something like that. But these definitions are flexible. They're going back to the meeting room there or the conference room so they can discuss some matters. And she says she's going to help him get settled in, which means to help him get used to the place, be familiar with it so he feels comfortable and he doesn't feel like he's an outsider or something like that. Okay, so I guess Jack's transfer to the office in London is going well so far. He says, great, thanks a lot. So they're ready to have their meeting back in the conference room. Let's find out what they discuss right now in the next part of our lesson.
So, given your experience, you'll be leading our sales and outreach efforts. We've attracted a few clients over the last few weeks, but based on what your supervisor in Montreal has told me, I suspect you'll be able to drum up even more business.
I certainly hope I can live up to expectations.
I don't imagine there'll be any problems. Although our device is not what you would traditionally call essential, innovative medical equipment is always a hot sell. And I'm confident we have the right team to convince buyers of the utility of our product.
第二部分我们看到的单字是 supervisor， 这个字当作名词，它有管理者、上司的意思，所以我们可以说 When the supervisor showed up at the meeting, all of the workers quieted down. 当上司在会议中出现时，所有的员工都安静下来。接下来我们看到的单字是 innovative， 这个字当作形容词，代表创新的、新颖的意思。例如，那家公司以其创新产品著称，英文可以这么说 The company is known for its innovative products.
All right, so Jack has arrived in London, and he has met his contact, Irene, and he is well on his way to getting settled in thanks to Irene, or he'll be getting there quite soon. And yes, once he gets settled in, Jack is going to start doing what Jack does. He's going to start getting results for the team there, the sales team in London. He's going to get this team up and running so that they can perform at a very, very high level, the level that Jack is used to. Anyways, Irene and Jack, they're back in the conference room, I should say, and Irene says, so, given your experience, you'll be leading our sales and outreach efforts. So, again, it's not clear whether or not Irene is a colleague or a boss, but she does have some inside info. She knows what Jack's job is going to be, so she might just be a supervisor or a boss or something like that, but that's not clear quite yet. But remember, the focus is on Jack. Jack is the star. Apparently, there in London, he is going to be leading the sales and outreach efforts.
Indeed. So as we find out later on, their product is some kind of medical device or maybe medical equipment. So, of course, they want to sell those machines to hospitals or clinics and stuff like that. But they also have these outreach efforts, which means going beyond just selling products. They want to get involved with the community and help promote the health of the community, help promote social welfare and stuff like that. Of course, companies need to do that for PR reasons, for publicity and stuff like that, so they have a good image.
Oh, so you're saying outreach efforts are where a company tries to reach out.
There you go.
Outreach or reaching out. So yes, he's going to be leading the outreach efforts. That is, he's going to be leading the company efforts to reach out to the surrounding community. Jack's going to be helping the company there in London to get involved with the community. That's all there is to it. He's going to help them reach out. Anyways, reach out's a two-word verb phrase. Outreach is just one word, although you are sticking the two same words together in the opposite order. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on. Irene is not done talking. She also says, we've attracted a few clients over the last few weeks, but based on what your supervisor in Montreal has told me, I suspect you'll be able to drum up even more business. So I wasn't joking before. Jack is a star, and his reputation has preceded him. They expect him to really do amazing things.
Indeed. So, of course, Irene Thompson has spoken to his supervisor in Montreal. And, of course, the supervisor had many good things to say about Jack. I don't know if the supervisor and the boss are the same person. The boss usually is the owner of the company, but a supervisor is some sort of manager, not as high as the boss or the owner, of course. But in any case, Irene did talk to the supervisor, and the supervisor praised Jack. The supervisor told Irene lots of things about him. So based on what the supervisor said, because of what he said, then I know you'll be able to drum up even more business. A supervisor, of course, as I said, is some sort of manager in a company. They oversee you. Who is your direct supervisor? Who's kind of your manager in the company? Who do you answer to? And here we've got the phrase to drum up something. That just means to create something, to gather things together, to increase the business.
Yeah, here, to drum up. We're not being literal. Jack's not going to walk around the office playing a drum or beating on a drum. That would be weird. To drum up something or to drum something up is to try to get business, let's say in this case, or to try to increase business. They think that Jack, by way of his gargantuan efforts, is going to be able to attract some attention and interest by customers, or these customers are going to be interested in working with the company because Jack is there drumming things up. Remember, Jack is a dynamic guy. When he starts working, everyone around him is lifted and people start doing amazing things and selling stuff all over the place, and then customers want to work with you. Yeah, Jack is just that awesome. Anyways, yeah, the supervisor, his boss back in Montreal, his manager back in Montreal had great things to say about Jack, and now Irene is thinking that Jack is going to drum up or attract a lot of business, and Jack is going to try to do this. He's going to try to do this by way of persistent effort, but he will not be drumming any drums. Anyways, Jack says, I certainly hope I can live up to expectations. And yeah, I believe that Jack right now just said the right thing because the bar has definitely been set high for him.
Yes, indeed. They praised him no end, so they probably have lots of expectations for him. So he says, I hope I can fulfill those expectations. I hope I don't let you down. Again, I hope I can live up to those expectations, do what people expect me to do. And Irene says, I don't imagine there will be any problems. She's done her research. She's talked to the home office in Montreal, and they've told her all sorts of wonderful things about Jack. She has no reason to believe that he's going to be a slacker or a bum or anything like that. But then she goes on to say, although our device is not what you would traditionally call essential, innovative medical equipment is always a hot sell. Now, basically what she is saying is that, well, although our machine, our device is not really essential, it's not really necessary for a hospital, they can make do without it, still, it's true that innovative medical equipment is always a hot sell. So yes, our machine is not vital to help save lives in hospitals. So again, the hospitals could make do without it, but still, it's a hot sell. Lots of people are interested in this type of equipment. A hot sell means something that a lot of people are willing to buy, and it sells like hotcakes. It sells really well. And if something is innovative, that means it's new, it's novel, it hasn't been seen before, it has new methods, it's quite advanced, it's quite original, and it's probably very attractive as a result of that.
There you go. Steve Jobs was known as being a great innovator. He created or had a hand in creating many innovative devices. But here we're talking about innovative medical equipment, which is always a hot sell, apparently. And yeah, a hot sell is just something that can be easily sold or which is in high demand. That's all there is to it. Anyways, next Irene says, and I'm confident we have the right team to convince buyers of the utility of our product. Yeah, Irene is saying this now that Jack is in town. Now, the final piece of the puzzle is there. Irene believes they have the right team to really do amazing things, all because of Jack. That being said, based on the way she's talking now, Irene, that is, I get the feeling that, yes, Irene will be Jack's supervisor there in London, but it also sounds like Irene is talking to him as though he is an equal because, yeah, let's face it, Jack is a star. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a break, but don't go away. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up this month's Plus Talk Dialogue.
Speaking of, who is our key audience here? In Montreal, we focused on top hospitals.
It's much the same here, although we're also hoping to reach out to smaller hospitals and clinics. I know they have limited budgets for specialized equipment, but I think they'll be eager to have our device on hand once they see it in action.
I agree, and we have a few strategies that are known to work well, such as showing them the positive feedback we've received from past clients.
Sounds like you're ready to move forward right now.
I'm always ready. Let's get started.
今天最后一个单字，我们看到的是 feedback。这个字当作名词，它有回馈意见的意思。例如 ，When shopping online, I only buy things from sellers with positive feedback. 我在网上购物时，只会跟有良好评价的商家买商品。
Okay, so remember at the end of the last part here, Irene said, I'm confident we have the right team to convince buyers of the utility or usefulness of our product. And Jack says, well, speaking of, or he could say, speaking of which, who is our key audience here? So remember, in the last sentence, Irene was mainly talking about the right sales team, but then she also mentioned convince buyers of this product, okay, or convince them to buy this. So because she mentioned buyers in the last sentence, it's not what she was directly talking about, but she did mention it. So when you kind of want to change the topic in a different direction, or at least start talking about something else that the other person just mentioned in passing, then you can say this. Speaking of which, or speaking of, and he's referring, of course, to the buyers there, their customers. And so he wants to know, hey, who is our key audience here? Audience usually refers to people watching some sort of performance. But in this particular case, he's talking about the buyers, the customers, who they want to sell this machine to.
Yeah, with regard to that topic, I've got a question. Or, now that you've mentioned it, I've got this topic, or this question, I should say, that I want to ask, so on and so forth. That's what that phrase means. Now, Jack says in Montreal, we focused on top hospitals. And then Irene says it's much the same here, although we're also hoping to reach out to smaller hospitals and clinics. I know they have limited budgets for specialized equipment, but I think they'll be eager to have our device on hand once they see it in action. And this makes sense. Top big hospitals probably do have extra funds. Smaller hospitals and clinics, not so much. But apparently this product is impressive enough, and Jack's a good enough salesman that Irene believes that they can still sell this stuff, these pieces of specialized equipment. Anyways, here we have the word specialized. If something has been specialized, it has been customized, refined, or designed for a specific reason or purpose. Further, let's talk about what it means to see something in action. Okay, if something is in action, it's working. It's in working order. It's functioning. This thing is in progress. It's in operation. It's kind of in its natural habitat, so to speak.
And Jack says, I agree with what you said, and we have a few strategies that are known to work well. such as showing them the positive feedback we've received from past clients. So if you want to sell a product, of course, you need to have a strategy or an overall plan. And he's telling Irene about their strategy that they used before. Basically, it involves showing the potential customers that positive feedback. Feedback, of course, is the response you get from people. Oh, I loved your product. It was really good. We did this with it. It allowed us to be more functional and efficient with our work, etc. That's feedback. And remember, feedback is a non-count noun, so please, I beg you, I beseech you, do not add an S to this word. Oh, it grates my ears when people do that.
Anyways, let's go ahead and move on. Next, Irene says, sounds like you're ready to move forward right now. It sounds like you're champing at the bit there, Jack. And Jack says, yeah, I'm always ready. Let's get started. Wow, how intense. Jack's a star now, and I'm pretty soon that in the future, he'll be a legend in sales and outreach. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a break, but don't go away. The Chinese teacher is waiting in the wings.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。在对话的第二部分， Irene 对 Jack 说， We've attracted a few clients over the last few weeks, but based on what your supervisor in Montreal has told me, I suspect you'll be able to drum up even more business. 我们过去几周已经吸引了一些顾客，不过根据你在那个 Montreal 蒙特楼的上司所说的，我想你会争取到更多的生意。好，那注意一下文中的 What your supervisor in Montreal has told me， 这不是疑问句哦，它其实是由 what 引导的名词子句，然后在句子里面当受词用。那这边还有一个片语是 drum up， drum up 表示大力的争取，拉抬声势。那 drum up 它有击鼓召集的意思，那可以引申用来指大力争取支持啊，或是顾客，或者是激发出热情、勇气等等的。举例来说 drum up support 就表示争取支持， drum up business 拉抬生意、招揽生意， drum up contributions 就表示争取捐款。好，那接着我们在对话中看到 Jack 他的回应是I certainly hope I can live up to expectations. 我当然希望自己能符合期望咯。那这边有一个片语是 live up to， 它有两种意思。第一种是用来表达达到或是符合，像是达到标准啊，符合期待等等。举例来说 Linda has been trying hard to live up to her father's expectations. Linda 她一直很努力要达到父亲的期望。好 live up to 的第二种用法是表达实现。举例来说 He lived up to his promises. 他有实现他的承诺。那顺便补充一下，我们可以用 live up to one's name 或是 live up to one's reputation 来指名不虚传，无愧于某人的名声，或者是名副其实。举例来说 He has found it difficult to live up to his reputation. 他发觉要符合自己的名声，要达到人们对他该有的期待，这是很困难的。好，那我们再来看对话第三部分 Jack 有说 Speaking of, who is our key audience here? 说到这里，我们这边主要的客源是谁呀？好，那句子里面它用到 speaking of 表示说起或是谈到，那它是片语介系词，我们可以在 speaking of 后面接某人或某事物，或是接动名词。举例来说 Speaking of swimming, have you ever tried snorkeling? 说到游泳，你有试过浮潜吗？一定要去试一下，我觉得海底世界好漂亮。好，那么以上就是今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天的单词吧。
Conference.
The research and development team held their meeting in the conference room.
Supervisor. Chris was excited to be promoted to supervisor after only a few months. Innovative. Trent's innovative approach to sales is the main reason he was hired. Feedback. The teacher provides detailed feedback on each assignment so that students can improve.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.